I'm tired and I am fed up. As a Black American woman who just minds her business and does her best to keep her head above water under the crushing weight of capitalism, I am so tired of not being able to enjoy shit. Couldn't properly mourn the death of James Earl Jones because we had to be reminded of his views on Black women. Now I can't even just listen to a weekly podcast YouTube channel because they done said that women from my city are the least attractive, had the least baddies. And then the platform they said this on is hosted by two Black girls who are from the South, who live in Atlanta, who did not push back on this shit at all because, oh, you ain't talking about me. So in the year of our Lord Tracy Ellis Ross, you leaning into exceptionalism, you leaning into the pick me of, oh, I'm not offended, they not talking about me, but they are. They are. If it's a critique on Black women and desirability, you are a Black woman, so while it may not spur you right now, it will spur you eventually. And actually, you contradicted yourself in the same sentence, because he sat there and said Atlanta had the least amount of baddies, and then you said, well, you ain't talking about me because I'm from Houston, you ain't offended me none. But then in the same breath you said much of the women in Atlanta are transplants. So he was talking about you, and then you doubled down on it on Twitter to say, why would I push back on something I don't care about? Why don't you care about how your audience of Black American women who are from the city in which you reside, where you have built a business and built a platform, why don't you care about what's being said about them? And I want to be very clear. I am unambiguously Black. Ain't nobody gonna look at me and question nothing about where I'm from. I got 4 Black grandparents. Very proud to be Black American. Very proud to be from the South. Very proud to be from Atlanta. I love my city. I love the people I know. I love everything about it. Is it problematic? Do we have work to do? Absolutely. But I absolutely love being a Black girl from Atlanta. Take a huge amount of pride in it. So much of the culture, so much of the language, so much of the music, so many of the dances originate in Atlanta. Yet y'all sat there and said that shit in Atlanta to two Black men who Black women view your platform as a safe space because you seemed like normal, safe Black men to celebrate, because you seem to have such a healthy grip on your identity as Black men. You were guests in the city, guests in the country, and you sat there and said the least amount of baddies, which is very coded language because it's a very Black city. So what you're saying without knowing that you're saying it is, was it too many Black girls for you? Was it just too many Black girls for you? Because you can listen to their podcast, you can look at their clips, which I have enjoyed. Like, I was subscribed on iTunes, I was subscribed on YouTube, I was following on TikTok, really enjoyed. And I could listen from context clues and get, I am not these men's preference. As a brown girl, I know that collectively I'm not a lot of people's preference, but I don't internalize it. I just recognize it. I'm aware of it. I've absolutely had dudes say, oh, I don't want to date her, she's too dark. I've absolutely had that experience, right? So I don't personalize not being desired, but I do personalize no longer having a safe space to just enjoy casual entertainment. That these two Black men and these two Black girls from the South sat there and had this conversation and doubled down on not pushing back, on not defending our identity. It just is disgusting and it's disappointing. And I feel like if I have to listen to the indignities of being told that I'm not desired because I'm ghetto, aggressive, man-hating, and then at the same time told that we're too strong and independent, because we have too many degrees and we have prioritized careers over romantic relationships. And being constantly told that no matter where you fall on the spectrum between Sexy Red and Olivia Pope, right? No matter where you fall on that spectrum, you're not going to be right for a certain kind of people. We constantly have to deal with that, just never being right. So the most that you can do is live the life that you want to live as a Black woman and look for safe spaces, look for a community where you can belong, where you do not fall through a trap door of misogynoir, where you do not fall through a trap door of homophobia or transphobia. And it's like, we can't have shit. Then these other clips surface where they sat there and let Andrew Schultz talk shit about us. Do you have no backbone? On either side, you'll never feel compelled to stand up and say, like, that shit really ain't cool. And let me say this. As a person who's been in therapy for almost 10 years, when I first became aware, right, of the amount of abuse that I have endured from men, I went through a phase where I was extremely angry because I realized how much I was taking, because I was socialized to take it, because I was socialized to prioritize being chosen by a man, because I was socialized to, as long as you're chosen, you're good. I was socialized to be a pick-me. Most of us are socialized to be a pick-me. Once that awareness became unlocked, and I'm in therapy and I'm realizing, like, oh, all this shit is a lie. I don't need to do that. I don't need to prioritize men's opinions in order to be happy in this life. The rage, the disappointment, the anger, and the fear that I experienced, I told my therapist, I am not only afraid of men, I hate men. And I don't want to carry that in my life because I have the desire to have partnership with a man as a cishet woman. How am I supposed to find partnership and be in community with men if I have these feelings? I don't want to feel like this. How do I undo this? And that took years of work. I want for people to also do that work, because I'm not going to deny that you had some negative experiences being biracial. I'm not one of those people who is like, oh, you tragic biracial person, feel so bad for you, da 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 da. Like, I think that all people are entitled to their feelings about whatever traumas they've endured. Absolutely. Does it get a bit exhausting? Sure. But we should give biracial Black people the space to express the indignities they've suffered. Not at the same time that we're expressing ours. Not at the same time. We need to separate it. But they do need the space to say that. So I will give you that Black girls bullied you in school. But as a grown-ass man, I need for you to do the work to undo that so that you don't feel comfortable enough to go on a platform for Black people, for an audience of Black women in a Black city, saying that they had the least desirable women. And I don't think that everybody, we're not deserving of or entitled to desirability. Everybody does not owe it to us to desire us. I am not one of those people who is absolutely disgusted by an interracial relationship. I live in Brooklyn. I can't walk 3 feet outside my house without seeing an interracial relationship. I don't give a shit about that. It's the point at which you start being disrespectful, because you're not just saying, wow, I really like cookies. It's, I really like cookies and brownies can fuck off. Now, how brownies get into it? Why you can just say what you like without having to shit on? And once again, we got to implement the buddy system. If you got some weird shit to say that you ain't worked through, text it to your buddy. You could have told him that on the plane ride home, in the hotel room. You could have texted him that from the toilet while you was taking a shit. You did not need to tell us, your Black female supporters, your audience of people who viewed you as a safe space, that this is not a safe space. I mean, thank you, because now we're not unaware. But I am just so exhausted as a Black American woman, constantly feeling like we can't have shit when we give so much. We give so much to the culture of the city, the state, the country. So much of the shit that you love come from Atlanta. So much. The sound, the music, so much of it comes from Atlanta. But it's just this constant disrespect. And don't get me wrong, my city got some issues. It's not the city I grew up in. I have lost a lot of people that I love to gun violence. Is there are some structural issues. There's some governmental issues. It's a whole lot. That's true for everywhere. But I'm really fucking exhausted with we can't have shit. We ain't got no safe spaces. What safe spaces do we have to just enjoy a casual fucking podcast? To just kiki for shits and gigs. To have a poor mind. Where can we do that? Without it crossing over into a level of ignorance where it's just like, well, shit, I don't feel welcome here. And I ain't stand where I'm not welcome. I don't want nobody who don't want me. You not attracted to black girls who look like me? You ain't gotta be. But I'm not gonna sit there and listen to that shit either. This was so disappointing. So disappointing. I'm just tired. I'm tired that we can't have shit. We can't exist in peace. We can't exist without being told we're too strong and independent, or that we're too ghetto, or that the way that we have fun isn't okay. We can't do shit. And I'm tired. We can't do shit and we can't have shit. And I'm exhausted. So, very disappointed in Drea and Lex. Very confused by Cascade being the trenches. Are the trenches in the room with us right now? If money wasn't an issue, I guarantee you I would pack my shit up and move into a home in the Cascade area in a heartbeat. I grew up over there. I had family over there. Very prominent families, very well-to-do families living in the Cascade area. So are the trenches in the room with us right now? Stop just saying shit. What you even mean by that? And to just not care. While today is them, tomorrow it will be you. That's why I don't understand people who don't have more of a sense of community. If I'm not free, you not free. If I'm ugly, you ugly too. And I also, if you gonna sit here and talk about what black women look like, and black women not being attractive, black women not being desirable, I want you to hold up a picture of your mammy at the same time. I want to see your mama. I want to see what your mama look like. If I gotta listen to you talk about me not being desirable, that's cool. I can eat that. I don't want nobody who don't want me, but I'm very curious to know what your mammy look like. That's all I got for it. I gotta go to work, so we'll talk later. But I'm very disappointed.